Started off Tuesday's training session with floor presses, running a top end set of 6 with 245 pounds. Feels pretty cool to be getting some rep work in well over the 2 plate mark, almost at the point where that back off work is going to be clearing 2 plates as well, which is always encouraging. That 2 plate milestone is always a fun place to spend when doing volume work and sets across. This back off work was with 220.5 pounds, unfortunately. So close to 2 plates, but not right on. But as I often mention, I'm not there to train my ego. I'm there to hit my numbers. So that's exactly what we do, which is why you saw those little tiny white fractional plates sitting on the end of the bar. From floor presses, I went into some hammer grip wide pull downs, utilizing the short bar as opposed to the long bar. 5 sets of 15 with 130 pounds respectively, getting a lot of upper back development in there before moving on to the overhead presses with the earthquake bar. Just a straight linear progression here, 3 sets of 10 with 114 pounds, finding that I'm adapting rather quickly to these overhead presses as I'm literally just slapping weight on the bar every time and managing to clear comparable rep ranges as to the week previous. Then we got some incline spoon presses rolling here. Now, I really wish I had access to fractional plates for dumbbells, and I'm thinking about getting some because making jumps of 5 pounds per dumbbell becomes a little bit unreasonable, especially on exercises that are specifically targeting smaller muscle groups like the triceps, even though, according to a lot of you on my IG post, my triceps are not a small muscle group. I believe somebody mentioned that my triceps are bigger than their future. And that's a little bit dramatic, but maybe true, unfortunately, for that individual. But managed to clear 4 sets of 15 with the 40s on the incline spoon press before transitioning into the thick rope tricep press downs for 2 sets of 20 to burn out. And let me tell you, the grip component with the thick rope is a little bit excessive and a little bit ridiculous. You'll notice I had to go for a regrip there because the muscles of my hands were absolutely shot. All in all, a solid upper body training session, and we're moving along. And to start off this Thursday morning training session, working on some barbell walking lunges, getting that volume in, starting off with 196.5 pounds for 6 reps per leg. And as many of you know who have been watching some of these vlogs now, walking lunges are one of my favorite lower body exercises. I just think it looks incredible when somebody can knock off some serious volume on a barbell walking lunge with multiple plates across. And I can't do that very well yet. I can get a couple of reps over 2 plates, but we're not talking any serious volume worth writing home about. But I have this vision, this aim, I have the intention to clear some serious volume, maybe 5 sets of 5 per leg with 3 plates on each side of the bar. I think that would be an incredible walking lunge. And let me tell you, if I could get to that point, not if, when I get to that point, I am going to feel strong. That's one of those milestones where if you see somebody doing 5 sets of 5 walking lunges with 315 pounds, that's a bad dude or a bad chick without a doubt. Backed off the walking lunges to 177 pounds here. Sets of 6 per leg as well. 2 back off sets with this one before transitioning into a conditioning-based superset. I always like to maintain a conditioning component to my training regimen, even though it might be minimal, depending, of course, on what my specific goals are at the time. But I do think it's beneficial to prioritize that conditioning component as it's going to contribute to optimal health. And, of course, the healthier you are, the more progressive of a yield you're going to be able to drive in consideration of performance increases over time. So we got the dumbbell squat and press, 8 repetitions with the 55s, deceptively challenging, and then into a sled sprint with 310 pounds for the length of the turf and back. It's about 48 feet each way, so call it 96 feet of total work, give or take a few inches, and then finished off with some overhead walks with the earthquake bar. Enjoying these. Shoulders get absolutely shot by the end. These were 80-second rounds, which is 64 pounds. And I really don't know what I'm doing with these, but they're difficult. Saturday morning's training session started off with a top-end set of weighted dips with 306 pounds by 6 repetitions, understanding, as I've often clarified, that this is total weight. This includes my body weight, as is the most strategic way to measure volume and intensity when doing chin-up, dip, variations, pull-up variations, etc., considering you are in fact moving your body weight throughout the movement. So it only makes sense to incorporate it into the calculations. As soon as I cleared this top end set, I backed it off for 3 sets of 6 with 275.5 total pounds, and then went into some supinated cable rows. My biceps and forearms were absolutely shot. 5 sets of 10 to 12 reps with 152.5 pounds. I'm so glad that I have access to the fractionals for the selectorized weight stack, because my goodness, those small incremental increases can absolutely destroy you. They're deceptive. 2.5 pounds makes a big difference over 40 or 50 repetitions across working sets. Then went into a neutral grip trap bar T-bar row, experimenting with this. Not really a big fan, but we're going to play around with it a little bit and see how it carries through. 52.5 pounds for 3 sets of 20, some high rep work, and then into the kettlebell line triceps extensions, and these are deceptively brutal. I'm not a fan, but I am a fan. If you know what I mean, it's a bit of a love-hate relationship, considering that they are so brutal on the back of the arms, and I love tricep development work, but they are so difficult as well on the grip. My goodness, the musculature of your hands gets absolutely destroyed as you squeeze onto those handles to ensure that you're not losing control of the bell of the kettlebell itself. As soon as I managed to clear all 4 sets of these, not only were my forearms fatigued, not only were my hands fatigued, not only were my triceps fatigued, but my head was fatigued too, just from focusing so intently on not losing control of the kettlebells. And then I finished off this upper body session with 2 sets of 9 reps. I know, kind of a weird rep range with the body weight tricep extensions. These are killers if you've never incorporated them before and you are stuck doing home workouts. These are a great variation to mix in. They are not for the faint-of-hearted or the underdeveloped tricep division. And to finish off this week's training, lower body, Sunday morning, some volume work on the barbell squat. 6 sets of 6 with 327 pounds. Feels pretty cool to be rocking straight sets across with over 3 plates and getting some solid rep ranges in as well. Before transitioning into a deficit deadlift, managed to pull 393 for 6 on the top end. 1 working set, more than adequate amount of stress being applied here, especially considering I am pulling from a deficit. And then I finished off this lower body training session with 5 sets of 10 on the reverse hyper, working with 182.5 pounds. Feeling strong, feeling confident across the board. All of my lifts are progressing, and it's encouraging to know that I am not losing ground amidst the chaos